Very good evening to all of you, beta. We learned yesterday about a few terminologies of classification of animal kingdom. We talked about levels of organization, that is cellular, tissue, organ and organ system level. We talked about different symmetries present in the organisms. We talked about germ layers and coelom. Apart from that, we discussed about the body plan that is available in different types of organisms of animal kingdom. So with the idea, as you confirm that you don't have any doubts, we will move ahead with the rest of the characteristics or terminologies that is often used for classification of animals. So a few very important terminologies out of them are anterior, posterior, ventral, dorsal, proximal, and distal. These are the terminologies used very frequently, but it is very problematic if you don't know the true meaning of them. Consider, let me draw a diagram of a dog. Okay. Now, if I am considering position of a dog like this, the anterior part of dog will be the part which is towards you. So this will be anterior. Now posterior part definitely will be this. The ventral part will be this one, which is towards the ground. Dorsal part will be this one. Okay. Proximal means the part which is near. So if you are standing here, your proximal part will be this. But the moment you are changing your position and you are coming here, this part will be proximal for the dog. Similarly, distal means the part which is at the back side. So when we are talking about ventral part of human being, it is part which is the abdominal part. Okay. So these are the terminologies which are very important because they are used very frequently. Yes, Rutu?
मैम जो फीट होगा मैम वो भी आएगा ना वेंट्रल पार्ट में?
Feet, no, feet are appendages. That is not part of the main body. These are called appendages. No? Feet means, acha, means you mean to say the feet, base of feet.
हाँ मैम वो नियर टू ग्राउंड उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लेके जाए तो
It's about body. Which part of body? So feet अलग से कुछ नहीं आएगा. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So now we will look into the other terminologies. That is called cephalization. See, we know that nervous system presence make animals apart from the plants. Nervous system is something which is enable them to be better responsive than the plants. The quick response that we can expect from human being, the moment if like I'm seeing something and I'm responding accordingly, is attributed to the nervous system of us. But in all animal, it is not that well developed. In some animals, they have only nerve fibers. They have simple sense organs to correlate with the environment. Cephalization is a terminology used in case the neurons concentrate or accumulate in a place to form a structure which can be said as a central nervous system. It may not be such well developed like brain we have, but there is something which we can call as a central nervous system, and it's formed by accumulation of neuron. So this is called cephalization. Okay. So cephalization, if it is present or not, that can be a criteria to differentiate different types of animal. Next is appendages. So what are these appendages? Appendages are the structures which are part of body, but they are not actually attached to the main trunk for directly. That means consider if in case of human, we have two appendages. One is leg, other are hands. So they are not part of the main body. They are attached to it. So these are called appendages. But this is the situation of human. In other animals, they may have tail, they may have leg, they may have hands, and these hands can be, legs or tails can have different function. They can be helpful for locomotion, for capturing food, for sensation. So all of these are called appendages, like wings, fins, limbs, depending on what the organism is and where it stays and what is the function. Now I am coming towards the next part, that is digestive system. In digestive tract, generally digestion can be termed as internal or external. So what is the funda of internal and external digestion? Consider if there is a cell, the food is engulfed by it and the digestion is occurring inside the cell. I can call it as a internal digestion. Okay. So in this case, it occur inside cell. In our case, it is not the same. You must be knowing that we have a digestive system. Okay, consider if I'm talking about stomach. Stomach is having cells at the lining, and these cells are not digesting food inside them. What they do, they actually secrete different type of digestive enzyme, and digestion takes place outside the cell. So in this case, the digestion, it occurs inside organ, not inside. So such type of digestive system or digestion is known as external digestion. Is this part clear, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next attribute that can be used for differentiating option of digestive system is the digestive system can be complete or incomplete. That means if any organism, if you can remember yesterday we talked about two type of body plans. One is blind sac. In case of Hydra, the body plan is of a blind sac body plan. So in this case, the digestive system is having only one opening. So this type of digestive system is known as incomplete digestive system. Whereas in case of human being, if we are talking about digestive system, it is starting from the mouth part, which is one opening. Then there will be presence of stomach. Then there will be presence of a highly coiled small intestine, which is having coiled structures like this.
मैम
Yes, beta.
मैम आप ये रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम के बाद कल जो हमने प्रोटोस्टोम्स और ड्यूटेरोस्टोम्स पढ़ा था उसका आप एक रिकैप दे सकते हो?
I asked you at the beginning only that do you have a doubt? At that time you said no. Anyways, let me finish on the topic which I am dealing now, beta. Then later on we can talk about it.
Okay.
So it is having two opening. One is here, other is here. It is having one opening, one is here. So this type of digestive system is known as complete digestive system. Understood? The difference between complete and incomplete digestive system?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we will talk about the respiratory system. Respiratory system is the very important part of our body. It can be underdeveloped to developed depending on which organism we are talking about. Respiration occurs by using different things. For example, if organisms are microscopic, the number of cells present in their body is less, so they can manage to respire via body surface. For example, in case of Hydra, simple diffusion method is enough for respiration. So what they do? The gaseous exchange occur at the body surface only for respiration. Okay. So this is called body surface type of respiration. But as the size of animal increases, the number of cells in the body increases. So at that time, only access to the outermost layer of cell for exchange of gases, and then later on transportation of these gases to the inner cell mass is not a very easy process. You will be requiring some kind of specialized structure for transportation and respiration, because otherwise the transport will be so slow and the organism will not be active enough. In animal kingdom classification, the best part is the activity of animals. For example, in case of animals, if you look into them, they need to run to catch the prey. They need to run from the predator. So the transportation of oxygen should be should be at very high rate. Otherwise, what will happen is the energy generated in cell will be low and they cannot move fast. Okay. So in some organisms which are aquatic, they have specialized organs like gills for respiration. So what are gills? Gills are structures in which there is a comb-shaped bony socket which is full of red blood vessels, and these blood vessels are having very thin membrane. So the moment water passes through these blood vessels, there is exchange of gases between the internal blood present in the blood vessel and the oxygen present in the water. Basic concept of gills and lungs is same. It is about gaseous exchange, but the difference is lungs is not equipped for gaseous exchange through water. Here the O2 is present in the water. So gills, in gills, directly the water is coming in contact with the blood vessels, and inside the blood vessel, if the CO2 level is more, by the law of simple diffusion, CO2 will go to water, and as in water O2 level is more, O2 will come inside the blood present in the blood vessel. Okay, so this is how gills are working. Understood, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
In case of land animals, we respire through lungs. In case of lungs, I hope everyone knows, because you studied about lungs, that there is a windpipe which is carrying air to two lungs present like this in our body. Inside lungs, if you see, you have small pouches. These pouches are called alveoli. So similar to gill, where the blood vessels are lined in a bony socket, here in this case, they are lined around the alveoli. So what happens is, if you enlarge alveoli, you will be able to see that it is lined with the blood vessel. What happens is the O2 is getting inside the blood vessel and CO2 is getting inside the alveoli. This is the way gaseous exchange takes place. Okay, so these are three methods, but that's not all. I said that if you look into animal kingdom classification, beta, you will be able to see diversity there, because animal kingdom classification, plant kingdom classification tells you about the steps of evolution. So in case of other lower animals, they may not have gills, they may not have lungs. They have tracheal respiration, which is observed in case of insects. You know, if you are putting any kind of insect into water, they will die immediately. Why? What happens is, if you look into a cross section of a cockroach, you can see in the body of cockroach there is a minute system called tracheal system. These tracheal systems are having pores across the both side of their body, and they are spreading throughout the body via different small trachea. So what is trachea? Trachea means windpipe. We also have trachea. Okay. So trachea is responsible for carrying, in our case, it is responsible for carrying wind from nose and mouth to the lungs. Because our number of cells are more, trachea cannot reach to each and every cell. It will take a lot of time to reach there. Now the problem is solved, that we are sending oxygen and accepting CO2 via blood. In case of lower organisms like cockroach, they don't require such kind of transfusion of oxygen via blood. As their body have comparatively less number of cells, O2 can be going inside via the pores present at the lining of the cell body wall, and then through these pipe-like connections or trachea, we can reach to each and every part of body. That's why if you are putting an insect in the water, water goes inside the trachea via these pores, and the animal will die. Okay. In case of lower organisms like earthworm, leech, frogs, the moist skin is full of blood vessels. The moist skin acts as a respiratory surface. This type of respiration is called cutaneous respiration. In case of scorpion, they have a lung which is looking exactly like book. If you have seen the bellow of harmonium, देखा है किसी ने? हारमोनियम का जो बेलो होता है जिसको प्रेस करते तो एयर गोज इनसाइड, it's having structure like that. Okay, so that is called book lung in case of scorpion. In king crabs you have book like structure called gill, and in frog gaseous exchange occur through buccopharyngeal cavity lining, means they have the buccopharyngeal cavity, means the cavity which is including buccal cavity, that is the mouth cavity, and pharynx is the small chamber which is common between the respiratory tract, that is trachea, and the digestive pipe or tract, that is called esophagus. So this area is full of blood vessels and they can have all these types of respiration. Now the frogs are the kings because they can have respiration via lungs, that is called pulmonary respiration. They can breathe via buccopharyngeal respiration. They can have cutaneous respiration. And let me comment, when they are present in the tadpole stage at the initial phase of their life cycle, they respire via gills too, because tadpoles are aquatic animals. They can respire via gills only. Okay. Any question regarding different types of respiration and respiratory system? Class?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Once you understand meaning of these terminologies, so it will be very easy for you to prepare for the each and every phylum. Now, we will talk about the circulatory system. The role of circulatory system is transport of material in the body. Okay. So, obviously, circulatory system is something which is very crucial, but its development is depending on the size and complexity of body too. In case of porifera, the circulatory system is called water vascular system. What happens over there is they have pores throughout the surface of their body, and these pores are continued into canals which are interconnected. So their whole body is full of canals and the pores which are the outcome of these canals. Water enters through these pores and going into the canal, and this is the way water vascular system is responsible for circulation in their body. Okay. In case of other organisms, they require something for circulation. But circulation via presence of heart is a concept which is originated from Annelida. Okay. Heart is a pumping organ which is responsible for maintaining the flow of blood. Like in our body, we have a specific flow of blood. You must have noticed that when we are having any kind of physical exercise, the flow increase. Have you noticed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this increase in the flow is controlled by our autonomous system. Okay, but this is ultimate. This condition is ultimate and it is the most improved organism condition. Lower organisms cannot have that. Okay, so generally, even if they have heart, their hearts are not that much well functional. They do not have 4 compartments to ensure that uh, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood is handled separately. I hope all of you already studied about the circulatory system of human in grade 10 in life processes chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
So you must be aware of the fact that what is called double circulation. You must be knowing that in double circulation, right part of our heart is denoted for the oxygenated part, and left part is denoted like it is designated rather to say for the blood of oxygenated type. So such things may not be possible, but there can be heart. Heart is something which increase the flow of blood. So if you see in case of insects, they don't have well developed circulatory system as such. From annelid, there is first development of heart, and the circulatory system can be of two types. One is open circulatory system, another is closed circulatory system. Now, what is this open and closed circulatory system funda? Let me tell you, if in a circulatory system, first let me talk about the closed, the one we have, then only it will be easy for you to understand. If you look into the circulatory system of our body, we have lungs, which is responsible for gaseous exchange, and there is presence of heart, which is responsible for pumping of the blood. In between, there are tissues, cells. You know that there are blood circulatory system, which is actually carrying the deoxygenated blood from the tissue, and then this deoxygenated blood is sent to the lungs. Okay, from lungs the oxygenated blood is shared to the heart, and then this oxygenated blood is supplied to the tissue. So if you look into the circulatory system, you can see that the CO2 containing blood, or even if it is a oxygen containing blood, is never coming in direct contact of the tissue. What happens is blood vessels get divided into small blood vessels. These are called capillaries, and these blood vessels are such small that they can easily come in contact with each and every cell. The cells are having very thin cell membrane, and the blood vessels are very thin wall. So gaseous exchange can occur very easily, but blood is never ever coming out of the blood vessel. So this type of blood system where is called closed circulatory system. Why? Because in this case blood never comes in direct contact with body or with cells. Okay. Now, in case of open circulatory system, situation is quite different. Here, in this case, even if consider one person is having heart, okay, and there are tissues, blood vessels are the blood vessels that is coming out of the heart are opening up into the tissues. The blood is filled in the tissues, and then this is collected and again sent to the heart. Okay. So in this type of system, blood comes out of and come in direct contact of cell. The difference between open and closed circulatory system is clear to all of you, beta? Class?
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Bolo beta. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
मैम ओपन सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम में वेसल्स नहीं होगी तो फिर मतलब कोई डेफिनेट
ये
पाथ
we have
कैसे डिसाइड
vessels.
होगा?
ऐसा नहीं मैंने बोला है कि vessels नहीं होगा बेटा. There will be presence of vessel, but those vessels are not like they are not what I can say intact. Means they are having some portion through which blood leaks out of them, and then these blood can come in contact with the this one, the cells directly. There will be blood vessels, obviously. Without blood vessel, who is going to carry the blood?
ओके मैम.
But you can understand the speed of blood transfusion will be slower in open circulatory system. Okay. Class, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you can understand if there are like what I can say, if there is suddenly there is blood which is not confined into a blood vessel system and it is confined coming out, then obviously the flow of blood, how much what I can say, the force it should be having, it will not have that much force, isn't it? Class, आप
Yes,
सोचो ना,
ma'am.
आपकी पाइपलाइन है घर पे, अगर उसमें लीकेज हुआ, will it have that much force?
No, ma'am.
So that is what is reflected there. So can we move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Now I wish to talk about the circulatory system only. I will want to tell you about the double circulation and presence of mixed blood. So what is this funda? Actually, in case of organisms like fish, their heart is a two-chambered heart. So what happens is the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is mixed. So they don't have separate compartment in the heart for circulation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay. Now what happens is, in our case, the heart is 4-chambered. Okay. So if you look into this structure, we have 2 atrium, and ventricle 2. So if you look in case of us, this is the part which is responsible for carrying CO2 wala blood. So in this case, the carbon dioxide containing blood will be filled in the right side of the heart, and then it will come out of this right part via pulmonary vein. Now, sorry, pulmonary artery. Now, in case of left side, pulmonary veins will carry oxygenated blood. So, it's never the situation arise that oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood gets mixed. Okay, so this type of circulatory system is the ultimate and best circulatory system. It is most efficient because gaseous exchange will be faster due to seclusion of oxygen and deoxygenated blood. So this is only visible in case of birds and mammals. In all other cases, they have mixed blood. Okay. Now, in case of blood, there are various things which is observed. In some cases of organism falling into the phylum, that is Arthropoda, they don't have red colored blood. Okay, why? Because they have hemoglobin in some cases, but it may be present in the serum, not in the inside the RBC. They can have a blue color pigment called hemocyanin. जैसे हीमोग्लोबिन में आयरन होता है, हीमोसायनिन the pigment have copper and it's not red in color. That's why many a times if you are taking cross section of prawns or pila, you can see that the blood is colorless. Okay. Whereas in case of vertebrata, the blood is having hemoglobin inside RBC, and that's why if it is coming out, the moment hemoglobin comes in contact with oxygen, its color is red, and that's why the blood is visible as red in color. Up to this part, any doubts, beta?
Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
ma'am, I have heard about the myth that human blood is also blue in color before passing through bone marrow or any other organ.
Passing through bone marrow.
हाँ मैम, ऐसे मैंने कहीं सुना था कि मतलब ह्यूमन ब्लड जब तक बोन मैरो से पास नहीं होता तब तक उसका कलर ब्लू होता है, ऐसा कुछ होता है मैम?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Actually, bone marrow is having a very good question, Ayushi. I'm very happy when you people ask such kind of questions which are myth, and I can bust those myths. So actually what happens, beta, bone marrow is the place where all blood cells are produced. Like for example, WBCs, 5 types of WBCs, there are RBCs, there are platelets. So you cannot say as such कि जब तक bone marrow में नहीं पहुंचता है, it is red, not red in color. Human blood is always red because see, it's not an isolated part. Bone marrow is not an isolated part. Okay, it is connected to the other part of the body via blood. तो आपके पास जो भी blood आएगा inside bone marrow, that is coming from some other part. It will have hemoglobin. ऐसा नहीं है कि उसमें hemoglobin नहीं रहेगा. And if hemoglobin is there, in that case, blood will be having red color. If in any case in the body the percentage of carbon dioxide increase and the oxygen percentage decrease, then the person can turn blue because oxyhemoglobin formation is reduced and there will be more number of carboaminohemoglobin formation, which is not at all red in color. That's why the shade will have a blackish tinge or bluish tinge in the body. That is possible, but ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है कि bone marrow में आने से पहले ब्लड मतलब ब्लू होता है, बिकॉज बोन मैरो में जो पार्ट ब्लड आ रहा है that is coming from some part and it will definitely have RBC because bone marrow also have cells which require oxygen. वहां RBC नहीं होगी तो उसको ऑक्सीजन कौन देगा बेटा, isn't it? So there must be some line. Many a times we misinterpret the information provided in a line. We need to understand the line. Maybe if you can share the line with me, I can give you another meaning of that thing. Okay?
मैम
Yes, beta.
Okay, ma'am.
मैम मतलब जब हमारी बॉडी में ऐसे ब्लड आता है तब वो ब्लू होता है और वो डीऑक्सीजनेटेड होता है, इसीलिए वो ब्लू होता है वेन्स में।
वेन्स में ब्लड ब्लू होता है, ऐसा तुमने देखा है?
नो मैम, ऐसा मैंने भी सुना है कि जब हमारी वेन्स में ब्लड आता है तब वो डीऑक्सीजनेटेड होता है, इसलिए उसका कलर थोड़ा ब्लू दिखता है, और जब
थोड़ा ब्लू
ऑक्सीजनेटेड होता
दिखता है और ब्लू होता है में फर्क है बेटा। ये सभी चीजें जो आप बोल रहे हैं ना, दिस इज द आउटकम ऑफ द पिक्टोरियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम वी सी इन आवर टेक्स्ट बुक टू डिमार्केट द, जैसे मैंने भी डायग्राम ड्रॉ किया था, इट इज अ जनरल टेंडेंसी टू represent the deoxygenated blood in which CO2 is present in more quantity. It is slightly not that dark red in color and bluish tinge is there, but it's not blue in color. बट दोनों को सेम कलर दो तो बच्चों को समझने में दिक्कत हो, इसीलिए भी मार्क इट इन ब्लू एंड अदर वन इन रेड. ओके, बट टेक्स्ट बुक में जैसा ब्लू कलर दिखता है ना कि टॉर्किश ब्लू कलर का है, वैसा ब्लड ह्यूमन में कभी नहीं होता है. सोचो ना, लेट मी गिव यू वन एग्जांपल. इफ अ पर्सन इज गेटिंग इंजर्ड, उसको कहीं एक्सीडेंट हुआ है या कुछ हुआ है, हैव यू सीन ब्लड कमिंग आउट ऑफ द बॉडी?
यस मैम।
हैव यू एवर सीन ब्लू कलर ब्लड कमिंग आउट ऑफ बॉडी?
नो
No, ma'am.
तो ऐसा जरूरी है कि सिर्फ arteries of that area is ruptured, veins are not ruptured? ऐसा नहीं होता है ना बेटा. अगर किसी को गंभीर चोट आई है तो उस एरिया के आर्टरी वेन दोनों टूट सकते हैं.
ओके मैम, तो मैम कुछ ऑर्गेनिजम्स होते हैं ना, जैसे कि ऑक्टोपस, स्क्विड और
यस यस
एक और है, तो मैम वो लोग के तो ब्लड पहले से ही ब्लू होते हैं, तो मैम
I
उसका
told
क्या?
you about that, beta. They have hemocyanin, which is a different pigment. I told you now only. Hemocyanin is a different pigment. At its center, they have copper present. And this that is having a blue color. उसकी color blue ही होती है. फिर भी let me tell you, जिस तरीके की blue, जैसे कि मेरा ये पेन का ढक्कन जो है, ये जिस तरीके का ब्लू है, ऐसा ब्लड किसी का नहीं होता है. It is having bluish color, not this much blue.
ओके मैम.
Understood?
यस मैम.
Any other question? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
नो मैम.
So we are done with the different concepts of circulatory system. Now we will go for excretory system. See, this funda of teaching animal kingdom classification I adopted for a few years. Trust me, if you know about these systems in advance, when you are going to study about animals, you just have to simply remember कि कौन से एनिमल में कौन सी एक्सक्रीशन है. यू डोंट हैव टू लर्न अबाउट द प्रोसीजर एट दैट टाइम. So it will be really a very efficient method of learning animal kingdom classification. So now we will talk about excretory system. It is one of the most important system of animal body because in case of excretory system, the toxic substances that is coming inside the body will thrown out of the body. From where these toxic substances are coming? It is produced inside us only due to different metabolic process. So basic role of excretory system is removal of nitrogenous waste from our body. So depending on what nitrogenous waste organisms are produced, We classify organisms at aminotelic, ammonotelic, ureotelic and uricotelic. What are these? Let us understand first like that. First of all, in case of aminotelic organism, amino acids are directly excreted from the body. Okay. For example, in case of starfish and unio, the amino acids are the excretory substance. In case of some organisms, mainly invertebrate and aquatic organisms, ammonotelic is the procedure. Their nitrogenous waste is ammonia. Okay. Ureotelic and uricotelic, in case of ureotelic, their excretory product is urea, and uricotelic produce uric acid. Can you tell me what are we? Are we amino, ammono, or ureo or uricotelic?
Ureotelic.
Yes. So in our case, urea is created. Now, you may ask one question कि ma'am, क्यों ऐसा होता है? So many types of nitrogenous waste. We also have amino acids in our body, and I told you also while teaching biomolecules that proteins cannot be stored in our body. If you are eating excess protein, that has to be excreted via excretory system. So why we are having this product urea? Why we cannot also excrete our nitrogenous waste via ammonia? See, what happens is generally the amino and ammonotelic organisms are aquatic. Whenever they are excreting their excreta in the form of ammonia, water can immediately dissolve that and dilute it. So its effect is not harmful on the environment and surrounding animals. But if urea is secreted like that, if we are secreting ammonia, it will be problematic for the environment because ammonia gas is having very bad smell, and inhaling ammonia gas is not a good thing. That's why we are having procedure, a special cycle present in our body that is called ornithine cycle, where urea is produced. That means the amino acid and the nitrogenous waste are converted into urea, and we have a well-developed excretory system through which it is mixed with water and it is thrown outside our body. Okay. In case of uric acid also, which is visible in case of certain insects, in lizards, snakes and birds, they don't have that much well-developed excretory system to convert nitrogenous waste into urea. But as they are terrestrial, they cannot excrete ammonia. तो अब बीच का रास्ता क्या है? They excrete uric acid. And uric acid is having a property to get solidified the moment it is coming in contact with the air. So इससे क्या होता है? It doesn't get sprayed that much. I don't know if I talk about it, it is a bit dirty. If you ever notice the excreta of wall lizard, you can see it is composed of two parts. One is the brown part, which is actually stool, and it has a white ball part, that is what is uric acid. In case of bird of excreta also, you must have noticed white substance due to presence of which it solidified immediately. That is nothing but uric acid. But this is all about what is the nitrogenous waste they are excreting. Apart from that, we need to know that in case of different animals, different types of excretory structures are present. Obviously, for an animal like Annelida, earthworm, it's a luxury to have kidney and then urethra and then nephron. It's a luxury for them because they have a simple structure. So let us know what are the different excretory organs present in different types of animals. There may be presence of Malpighian, corpuscle, or tubule. There may be presence of nephron. So mainly I am going to talk about these things only. In case of certain animals, in the body wall, they have pores, and these pores are expanded inside in a pipe which are having extensions like this. So these extensions are responsible to absorb waste, and then these waste can be thrown out of the body via these pores. Nephrons are a bit more developed than the Malpighian corpuscle or Malpighian tubule. They have a funnel-like structure like this, whose end is lined with a hair-like structures, and it has a pipe which is attached to the pore of the body wall. You must have understood that excretory substance absorbed via this nephron hair-like structure, and then it is thrown out of the body via pore. In case of arthropodas, maximum diversity of excretory system as well as respiratory system is observed, because arthropoda are like most diverse phylum present in the animal kingdom. In case of prawn, in the head region, there is one spring-like structure which is called green gland, and it is responsible for excretion. People who eat prawn, जो लोग prawn खाते हैं, उनको पता है that removing that gland is very much important. If it is not removed properly, a person may suffer from diseases. Okay, because it is having waste product present inside it. In case of spiders, if you look into spider, you can see that they have, how many legs generally spiders have?
8.
So spiders are arthropods called arachnids. So these 8 legs, at the base of each leg, they will be having the small gland which is called coxal gland, because this part from which legs coming out is called coxa. So they have a gland called coxal gland, and this coxal gland is responsible for excretion. Okay. In our case, I am not going to draw the diagram because all of you studied about it in life processes. We have kidney, and inside kidney we have a unit of excretion, that is nephron, which is responsible for formation of urine. Once the urine is formed inside kidney, it is carried out via ureter, stored in urinary bladder, and coming out of our body via urinary pore, that is called urethra. Okay, so this is all about excretory system of organisms. Any doubt, anyone?
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay.
मैम
Yes, beta.
मैम वो जो मैंने स्टार्टिंग में पूछा ना प्रोटोस्टोम्स और ड्यूटेरोस्टोम्स,
I told you at the starting only. Once we are done with it, I will explain.
नो मैम आई एम नॉट आस्किंग अबाउट दैट रिकैप मैम. उसके जो एग्जांपल्स है ना मैंने वो देखे, तो उसमें ह्यूमंस वो ड्यूटेरोस्टोम्स में ही
हाँ,
आएंगे ना, क्योंकि
हाँ,
पहले एनस और
हाँ,
फिर माउथ.
हाँ,
हाँ मैम, मुझे इतना ही पूछना था उसके बारे में.
हाँ, अच्छा, अच्छा, अच्छा. If you refer to the lecture, it is already available in the YouTube. You can find it from there.
ओके मैम.
Okay. So now we will go to the nervous system. Okay. nervous system is most developed in human. Okay. We have cephalization, that is definite head formation. In other case, they can have nerve ganglion, which are not having definite structure like head, but they are having a group of nerve cell that can be termed as nerve ganglion. Endocrine system is something which is very, very important, and it is present in higher animals. It is not present in case of lower animals. Can you tell me what endocrine system does? क्या करता है endocrine system? What do you know about endocrine system? Yes, Ayushi.
Ma'am, the produces.
Yes, Ayushi, you raised hand. Please speak.
Ma'am, it secretes various types of hormones which help to coordinate and control our body with one another.
So I have a question here. If we have already nervous system present in our body for control and coordination, why we require endocrine system also? Yes, Ayushi.
Ma'am, because nervous system reacts to the spontaneous stimuli, but the endocrine system is required as it helps for the internal growth, which is a long-term process.
Very good. Very good. Any other? Nervous system is able to affect only a few types of cell. For example, muscle cell and others. Endocrine system can go to every type of cell, isn't it? So that's why endocrine system is very much important. In case of vertebrate, this is very well developed. In case of invertebrates like insects, they may also have endocrine system. For example, there can be hormones which help them in molting, that means the changing of the body shape. They may act as a pheromone. Have you ever heard about pheromones? Class?
No, ma'am.
No. So what are pheromones? Actually, pheromones are not that way well studied and extracted. These are called gaseous hormones. They are secreted by animals. In human also we propose about pheromones, but we don't able to identify it properly. In animals, it is identified well prominently. This is the hormone secreted which attract the opposite sex. That means male and female get to identify each other by this hormone secreted by them. Okay, they smell that hormone. So that is why in some lower invertebrate also the endocrine system may be present, but in vertebrate it is quite developed one. Okay, now we will talk about the sensory system. So sensory system is composed of sense organs. In case of very lower animals, the sense organ is not that developed, but as they develop, they have separate type of sense organs. For example, they may have antenna, which can sense the motion, that is tactile sense, and sometimes they can sense smell. They can have tentacles, which can sense the motion. Skin can be act as a sense organ. We all know we have skin as a sense organ. In case of aquatic animal, maintenance of their balance is a very good idea because they are swimming in water, so they may need to maintain a balance in their body. So statocyst is organ. I'll tell you later on when we will discuss about each and every phylum. You will be able to know that nervous system is present in which type of like Phylum, what type of nervous system, that detail we will go. There can be ear, there can be olfactory epithelium which detects smell, there can be taste buds, there can be eyes, lateral line organ which is present in fishes to sense the condition of water. So these are the different sense organs present in different types of animals. Now we will talk about the skeletal system. See, invertebrate, or rather to say non-chordatas, do not have endoskeleton present in their body. Okay. They may have exoskeleton. What is the difference between endo and exo? We have endoskeleton present inside body. The part which is supporting our body, maintain the structure, is present inside our body. In case of snails, they have exoskeleton because the shell is present outside the body. So external shells of mollusks, cuticle of arthropods, scales of species, feathers of bird, hair, the hoofs present in case of cow or horse or buffalo. Hoof पता है ना बेटा, उनके hand नहीं होते. They have hoof. The nails,
Yes,
we have horns, claws. All these are example of exoskeleton. Endoskeleton is present mainly in us, but in invertebrates also they may have endoskeleton. For example, in sponge, they have spicules made up of either calcium carbonate or silicon, which is giving their body a elastic structure. In case of us, we have cartilage on bone, and this is supporting the body. Okay. Now about sex. Animal can be monoecious. Monoecious means bisexual. That means it is also called hermaphrodite, where single animal can have male reproductive part as well as female reproductive part. So such animals are these: liver fluke, tapeworm, earthworm, leech. And in some cases like frog, lizard, birds, dogs, and even us, we have separate animal as male and separate animal as female. We call such animals as unisexual or dioecious. This part must be known to you. In reproduction, organisms may reproduce via asexual and sexual means. As organisms develop, they are more complex. The asexual means of reproduction is not like adopted. Can you people tell me why? क्यों human asexually reproduce नहीं करते हैं? Class? I guess you people can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
ये सोचना question. This will be your thinking pot, where you think, okay, why we cannot divide vegetatively or asexually. Okay, so reproduction, in asexual reproduction, there is no fusion of gamete from a body part or from specialized structure. There is reproduction. There can be budding, there can be fragmentation, fission, regeneration. You studied about them in grade 10. In sexual reproduction, there will be fusion of gamete. And generally, in case of these organisms, it is fusion is there. Now, if we consider about fertilization, fertilization can be external and internal. If it is occurring somewhere outside the body, we call it external fertilization. In case of frogs and fishes, many a times external fertilization observed. In fish, internal also observed in case of marine fishes, which are called cartilaginous fish. So what happens? The gametes are thrown out of the body. They will detect each other. Fertilization occur outside the body, and the fertilized eggs produce the new organism. In case of internal fertilization, there is copulatory organ present. So in male, there is an organ which can push the male gamete inside the female body, and female body needs to have a structure which is enabling this process. Okay, so in our case, inside vagina, the semen, that is the male reproductive cell containing medium, is splashed, and then the fertilization occur in the fallopian tube. That is example of internal fertilization. Now, animals can be oviparous and viviparous. If they are laying eggs, they are called oviparous. If they are directly giving birth to child, they are viviparous. Oviparous animals need to take care of their eggs. They generally wait there till they hatch. They give them proper warmth and conditions so that eggs can break and new organism can come out of it. Now, the development of these organisms can be independent, or we can call it direct development or indirect development. So what do we mean by direct and indirect development? In case of human being, the human produced may be small in size, but it is having similar structure with the parent. This type of development where metamorphosis is not involved, we call such development as direct development. But if you look into frog, in case of frog, the organism that is produced after like hatching of the egg is not at all look like a frog. It is having structure like this. It is not even terrestrial. It is a aquatic animal. If you can look into butterfly, after it lays egg, something which is coming out of butterfly looks like a worm like this. So these are example of indirect development where one very important thing that occur is metamorphosis. हम सब ने बचपन से पढ़ा है कि एक अगली लुकिंग वॉर्म में से कैसे बटरफ्लाई निकलता है, एंड देयर आर स्टेजेस कॉल्ड लार्वा, प्यूपा stages. So all organisms where development is not direct, metamorphosis will be there, and development will have different stages like larva, pupa, and others. Understood? Class?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
very few other points are left. First of all, there is a lot talked about notochord, and you know that chordatas have notochord. What is this notochord? It's a rod-like
Ma'am, may I?
structure. Yes, definitely.
It is a rod-like long structure which provides support to our dorsal part.
Yes. but it may not be present in all chordates throughout the life. For example, now we don't have notochord. In our case, notochord is modified into vertebral column. Okay, but its presence at any part or any stage of life cycle is called making like if it is present, then we call them chordates. Last but not the least, the body temperature. If any animal is cold-blooded, what do we mean by cold-blooded? The most challenging part animals face is to maintain their body temperature. You know that in winter season we have option of wearing sweaters, jackets, and we think about beautification. We buy so many winter clothes. But if you are talking about fish, if you are talking about frog, they don't have Amazon or Flipkart from which they can buy the winter clothes. They do not have opportunity to buy ACs, fans, and coolers. So how they meet this challenge? How they come up with this? What they do in case of cold-blooded animal, maintaining body temperature is a challenge. And if there is too much difference in the body temperature and the temperature of surrounding, the body will either accept too much heat, which will be difficult to take, and other or the body will lose too much heat, which will be difficult to handle. So in such situation, what they do, they bring the body temperature near the environmental temperature. So that's why we call them cold-blooded. That doesn't mean if I check there, they have freezing cold blood. They are unable to maintain their body temperature. That is what the basic funda. So what they do, they try and find the situation where their body temperature can be near to the temperature of the surrounding. Okay, that's why you must have seen that crocodiles are always interested to sit in the sun. चुपचाप पड़े रहते हैं sunlight के नीचे, so that their body should not have that temperature fluctuation. In case of homeothermic animals or warm-blooded animals, they can definitely maintain their body temperature. We are homeothermic. When I taught you about the living organisms characteristics, I told you about how we shiver or how we perspire to maintain our body temperature. So that is all about the important definitions. I request all of you to remember these definitions, because if you remember them, it's a matter of fraction of second you learn about the animal kingdom classification. Okay, beta. Any doubts from your side?
मैम
Yes, beta.
मैम जैसे कि वार्म ब्लडेड होता है तो हम अभी वार्म ब्लडेड है, बट जैसे कि अर्ली एजेस में हमारे पास ना स्टेशनरी शेल्टर या ऐसे कोई अप्लायंसेस नहीं थे, तब भी मतलब वार्म ब्लडेड होना क्यों जरूरी था?
Early stages में what? I didn't get. Can you repeat your question?
मैम आपने बोला कि अभी अभी मतलब प्रेजेंट लाइफ में हम अपना बॉडी टेम्परेचर है वो अप्लायंस जैसे कि एसी
प्रेजेंट लाइफ नहीं बेटा, ऑल ह्यूमन. हमारी ऐसा नहीं है कि पिछले जन्म में हम कोल्ड ब्लडेड. ऑल ह्यूमन वी आर डूइंग हैविंग वार्म ब्लडेड बॉडी, isn't it?
मैम मतलब हाँ, required the AC or heater for maintenance of their body temperature. तो मतलब जो अर्ली मैन थे, जो स्टोन एज में जिनके पास ऐसे अप्लायंस नहीं थे, तो तब
तब वो कैसे?
temperature
वेरी वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन आयुषी. आई अंडरस्टूड व्हाट यू वांट टू से. इट्स अ वेरी वैलिड एंड गुड क्वेश्चन कि आज हमें एसी की इतनी जरूरत पड़ती है. तब के जमाने में लोग क्या करते थे? एक्चुअली एट दैट टाइम पीपल वर मोर टॉलरेंट. इफ यू आस्क मी, nowadays we are not at all tolerant. पहले हमने जब एसी खरीदते हैं ह्यूमन, they think we will use it only for summer season. Now people switch on AC and they have AC blankets. You know, there is a brand of blanket called AC blanket. So they switch on AC and then they use AC blanket to sleep, sleep comfortably in AC. Actually, the funda of AC is better. It is giving you less humidity. That's why you have that comfort level. But using too much air condition is not at all good. So that time people were more tolerant. Like if you ask me, in my childhood, we had frequent power cut. तब ये सब जनरेटर इन्वर्टर और मतलब क्या बोलते हैं इलेक्ट्रिक लाइट्स और ये सब ऑप्शंस नहीं थे. देयर वाज हैरिकेन, यू नो. आई डोंट थिंक आप में से किसी ने कभी देखा भी होगा.
Yes, ma'am. वो
These are
US में
extinct
सबसे
things.
ज्यादा आता है.
एंड वो जला दी जाती थी. एक कांच का ऐसा डोम होता था एंड इट हैड अ मेटल फ्रेम. उसको नीचे करके एक देयर यूज्ड टू बी वन वीक, जैसे दिया का होता है ना, दैट वी यूज्ड टू लाइट, और उसके अंदर केरोसिन से वो जलता था. वी स्टडीड बाय यूजिंग दैट ओनली. इसका थोड़ी नाम पढ़े नहीं. सो इट इज ऑल अबाउट साइकोलॉजी एंड कंफर्ट लेवल बेटा. सेकेंड थिंग इज हम इसको एक साइकिल कंसीडर कर सकते हैं. गर्मी बढ़ रही है इसलिए हम एसी यूज कर रहे हैं, और एसी यूज कर रहे हैं इसलिए गर्मी बढ़ रही है. ओके. क्योंकि हम we are, none of us are, see, if you ask me, I feel human being is very selfish. They don't even think about farm. आज से लेके 10 साल बाद क्या होगा, we don't think. We are living in present. That's why we are causing harm to our environment, and maybe we are suffering like due to this, whatever we did to environment. Coronavirus pandemic is the punishment of that. I believe in that. We don't deserve. We don't deserve. So a person can live without AC. बड़ी-बड़ी बातें नहीं है, but it can be there. जैसे अभी बेचैनी सी लगती है ना, फोन नहीं हो तो अजीब लगता है. Even I, as a admin person, as a vice principal, if I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is I need to check कि कोई टीचर छुट्टी में तो नहीं है. पहले के जमाने में क्या टीचर्स छुट्टी में नहीं जाते थे? व्हाट्सएप जब नहीं था, क्या स्कूल चलते नहीं थे? बट वी आर हैबिचुएटेड नाउ बेटा. दैट्स ऑल. ओके. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
मैम.
यस यशवी.
मैम वो जो हमने रेड और ब्लू, फेडेड ब्लू ब्लड की बात की ना. हाँ, तो मैम उसके अलावा कुछ ह्यूमंस ऐसे हैं जिसके पास वो गोल्डन ब्लड है जिसमें RH नल होता है, तो मैम उसका क्या फंडा होता है?
गोल्डन ब्लड भी गोल्डन कलर का नहीं होता है. वी विल टॉक अबाउट
Yes,
इट इन आवर नेक्स्ट क्लास. ओके. These are like terminologies we use to label them बेटा. गोल्डन कलर का ब्लड नहीं होता है.
मैम मतलब जहाँ मैंने पढ़ा था वहाँ पे ऐसा लिखा था गोल्डन ब्लड RH नल प्रोटीन, इसीलिए फिर वो टर्मिनोलॉजी ऐसे ही याद रह गई है.
हाँ, it is correct. It is correct. That's why I said that when we are reading something, reading is something different, and understanding the meaning is something different. We will talk about this in, like, let me tell you, we can talk this in detail in circulatory system chapter. I will tell you about the Bombay blood group also. What is Bombay blood group? That also I will tell you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, beta. So that's all for today. Bye to all of you. Good night, beta.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, beta. Bye.